I don't want the recording. There we go. Okay, good.
Okay.
And then Mary's on here twice, but
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Can you hear me okay?
Mary, can you hear us?
Yep, we can hear you, Steve.
Good.
Can we hear Steve?
Yep.
Well, I must have turned down, but I did hear him.
Okay. And then Mary has Gwen there. Gwen is a chamber person as well.
Okay.
Would you like me to update?
Yeah, let's just get everybody in and then I'll start her up.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Hi, everyone. It's officially 5 o'clock, so I will call the January 14th meeting of the Yarmouth Community and Economic Development Committee to order. This is to formally advise that as required by Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, subsections 18 through 25, and pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, extended in 2023, the Yarmouth Community and Economic Development Committee will hold a public meeting on Tuesday, January 14th at 5 p.m. at the Town Hall offices. The public is welcome to attend either in person or via alternative public access. So we have our chamber friends on. So we'll start at number 1, which is chamber items. Letter A is the sand sculpture request for funding.
And Courtney, can I just remind you that since Steve is remote, you should do roll call.
Okay. Okay. All right. Hi, Mary. Oh, roll before we start.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Courtney Butler, chair.
Joseph Manning, member. Joe Gibbs, member.
Peter Slovak, member.
Steve O'Neill here.
Awesome.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thanks. All right, Mary. We are ready for sand sculpture request for funding, item number 1A.
Okay, so I did submit to the committee a request for the sand sculpture trail for $40,000. That is the standard request each year for this particular initiative. If the committee would choose to reallocate any of the funds from the existing contract, then the request would be for an additional $30,000.
Committee member questions, comments? Joe Gibbs, do you have something?
I just have some questions on this, and the last couple of years this has been brought up, I was away. So while this isn't a new request, this is a request that comes back every year. What is the legality of funding this? Now, we've issued no RFP for this. This is, $40,000 is a pretty big chunk of change to add to a contract that's already in place. What's to prevent anyone else to come forward and ask money just like this out of the blue?
It's a good question, Joe. And just in talks with procurement folks here, our procurement administrator, she's been okay with this in the past. I'm not sure that it does preclude anybody else from coming forward. I think that it's a special fund and it's grant money that makes a difference. I can look into it further for you. I feel bad I don't have a better explanation for you.
I just want to be fair.
Yeah.
Fair to everybody.
Yep.
I know this is,
Happy to.
I know, looking for it the other day, but I know we had a sheet at one point of like all the years funding buckets where this has come from, and it's.
This one's been kind of all over the place, and I have the budget from the last couple of years up. And last year it was funded through a number of things. It's not something, I think we tried to encourage it as part of the marketing contract by asking for a signature event. And it could have been folded in that way. This is beyond the marketing budget that we've approved and contracted for. So we'd have to look at piecemealing together funds from different buckets, if you will, different accounts to make it happen.
I guess as far as that goes, what's an appropriate bucket for this to come from?
So I'll share my screen. I'm going to share my screen.
Yeah. Karen, can I just interrupt? I'm sorry. Amy's trying to get in and she's saying it's not letting her in. Is she in the waiting room or anything?
She's not.
Okay, thank you.
She's not. No.
Thank you.
Let me share that
Oh, there she
spreadsheet.
is.
Is she there now?
Yep, she's there.
Okay, let me just finish this one thing. All right. This is updated. Okay. All right, there's that. Let me go back to get Amy into the room. Hold on, Amy. You should be being promoted, Amy.
Thank
There
you.
she is.
I'm trying.
Can you hear us okay?
Yes, I can. Thank you. I just was signing in as Mary too, so sorry about that.
Thanks for joining, Amy.
Hi, you're welcome. I'm trying to.
So this is, sorry, because the screen is pretty full here. So in terms of what's available, right now, there's no special event funding available because you have round 2 out there. And we budgeted at least $125,000 to make that available. Marketing and promotion, there's a balance of $18,000 from last year. You have funding in the economic development line. And then there are funds in the public improvements. We do have also on the agenda the requests that were submitted to the committee. So the amount that's available, the 249, would be less any public improvement funds that you want to award tonight.
Okay.
Last year, just to answer Joe's question, so sand sculpture here in 25 was funded, this was this past year, with the public improvement money. And then I'd have to look back. Mary, do you know off the top of your head what was funded last year?
I do not. Every year it changes.
But it's always, it's for the most recent years, it's been around this amount.
Yes,
Oh, yeah, no, since, I think in 2020, we changed the amount because that's when the town had come back to us saying they couldn't assist with the sand
Okay,
delivery and removal, so that's when we requested the additional funds.
yeah, I'd have to go back in time and look.
First question. What you've been given for the sand sculpture. for help.
In the past? Okay,
We're just talking sand sculptures.
Danielle Newcomb's just arriving.
Okay. So
Okay, Joe, I've got that noted.
are there other committee questions right now? Basically, we just got into the sand sculpture thing. Okay. And the Joes were asking how much has been funded previously and out of what buckets.
When's the deadline on the round 2?
Hold on, I'm just taking notes. It's hard to do both things. I want to say that it's due February 5th or 6th, so that we'd have it, the responses for the special event program in time for the February 11 meeting. So we had it out there and we put it out for about a month.
Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Okay. Mary, of the 33 new designs in 2024, how many are located in a tourist spot, hotel, restaurant? How many are maybe at a spot tourists aren't likely to go to an attorney's office, account, or something like that?
So I can barely hear you, but if what I'm understanding is how many of the 33 are actually at a local business? Is that correct?
Are at a location where tourist visitors might see it. versus a real estate office or attorney's office or some other business like that?
I don't have that data in front of me, but even those people travel to, every single one of them, to see them. So I would say if you're talking like a retail store versus an office, I don't know, I'm just a rough estimate because I don't have the list over the years in front of me, maybe 26, 27 of them.
Mary, there's 33 total last year?
Every year, 33. Yep.
Okay. So just looking at your budget, I'm sorry, Courtney, is it
No,
okay if I
yeah.
jumped in? And I lost no, I didn't. On the budget then, the price for the business owners then is 28,855 divided by 33?
Nope, divided by 29. And that is because 4 of them, so Town Hall, the one at Strawberry Lane,
Yeah,
the
And the-
one at our office, the 15-ton, and the one at Route 6.
who pays for the one at Route 6?
No, and it's built into the budget. So we raise it through sponsorships or, ads that we sell. Because the entire program is what, $75,000? Yeah, 75.6. We're anticipating the expenses to be in 2025.
Has this been the price to participate the whole time the program's been going on?
It has been. And while I can tell you, we even talked about it internally, raising the price this year. But Gwen, who's with us tonight, and I had the conversation, especially right now with the wastewater project.
Mhm.
I don't think the businesses could afford to go up. A lot of them right now are saying they're 60% or 70% down on their sales. So to put that on them this year, I don't think it would happen.
Okay, is there a reason it wasn't done previously, like leading up to this incrementally over the years to raise or is there more outreach to get more than 33, or is that kind of the max?
It's so a couple of questions there. So the 33 is the maximum number that the artist can do in the 30 to 35 days that they're here. Just physically, if you've never seen the way they're built, it's an awful lot of work. Raising the price, the discussion has happened with the CEDC probably 5 or 6 times over my tenure here. And it's always been decided not to raise them just because as soon as we feel like we go over that $1,000 to $1,200 for the expense, it's going to be a challenge for some of them to do. Over the years, we've had to build in, excuse me, I'm going to talk too much. Just building in the cost of the delivery of sand and removal of sand has been an addition. Sorry.
Okay,
Mary, is there any plan to move this to sustainability, or are you telling us that it's not ever gonna move to sustainability?
The committee has never asked us to do that. If that was something, we would look at it differently.
So this is the 14th year?
Yeah.
Is this the largest ask to date in the 14 years?
You're not on.
She's, just so everybody knows, Mary's
I was just,
and Amy, I think everybody's
hi, Gwen.
sick, except for Gwen, who's
you pinch it for
who's
us, Gwen?
trying to stay well.
right. So she's probably having a bit of a coughing fit at the moment, but I'm sure she'll be right with us.
Yeah, Joe, I can try to go back in time to look at the requests and do
Right,
an
it has to be the
overtime.
biggest-
I don't honestly know. I feel,
Their prices haven't gone
Yeah,
up on
I
the
can't-
businesses, but.
Expenses are
Right,
going up.
Expenses go up
exactly.
every year.
Yeah. Are there other questions that we
Just-
have? Oh,
I had one question on the budget, Gwen. I don't know if you can answer it. In the budget, the income, there's different income streams called out. One is sand sculpture. I understand that. Sand sculpture ads, those are things, hi, Mary, things I don't know if those are the things you put up, the signs you put up, or the ads. I'm not sure what the ads are, but then I was,
At the map,
let me just finish one thing. And then the sand sculpture removal is listed as an income. And I didn't know if that was intentional or how does that work?
Okay, let me jump in. Sorry, everyone. So I know
Poor
you're gonna have to
Mary.
bear with me
no,
because
thank you for being here.
all right, so I want to answer Joe's question. So I believe for 6 years that I've been here, we had requested $33,600 from the committee for the sand sculpture trail. I believe, and Karen can look back, in 2020, the town of Yarmouth came to us and said, we can no longer deliver the sand to the businesses and we can no longer remove the sand. So the chamber then, to carry on the initiative, had to hire someone to deliver the sand and remove the sand. And so that became an added expense. At one point, we added in a map that we print 7,000 of those annually that people pick up at our visitor centers. They're at all the other chambers across the Cape, as well as in different locations. And people pay for that advertising. So they pay $225 for a small ad and $425 for a double ad. So that's helped to generate the income to cover the cost. Then they pay for the removal of the sand, and that ends up being a wash. So if I own a business, I pay $175, I believe, to have the sand removed. And then that exact same amount, the 175, is paid out to a company that removes the sand. So it's literally just a wash on the income and expense.
Not on the budget.
No, not on the budget, because on the expenses, you're seeing the delivery, not just, and the removal. We don't charge for the full delivery. We charge for the removal only.
This
Okay.
line
Yeah.
is delivery and removal.
Okay.
So this accounts for how much the removal is
Oh, okay.
and takes away that part, but
Oh,
this
okay.
is all the
Thank you.
extras to delivery.
Questions for?
And if I can just also say, you'll see that we have partners, Child's Trucking and Nardone. In the past 2 years, they've stepped up and have donated their trucking. And for the hauling of the sand, because they have to go up to New Hampshire to a gravel bank to get the special sand, it's $800 per trip. And it's 4 trips to get the sand. So that's an in-kind contribution that you're not seeing in the budget here.
What time period is that in the year?
When do they do it?
Right.
They bring the sand, depending on his availability with Tim, I would say it's early June, late May that they're already hauling it in. And then DPW allows us to store it at their bank, and then we gradually bring it into the locations as we need it.
And then when do you take it back?
We take it out Columbus Day weekend, we start removing them.
What do you do with the sand? Like, that's just a
Mhm.
curiosity question.
Yeah, so
It's
you
got the
can't,
glue.
yeah, it's not like beach sand, right? It's a sand that's fabricated. It's actually flat sand, so it stacks easy. And because of the glue that's put in it, it cannot be used like just, it's interesting. People think they can steal it and they're going to put it at their local beach on their property or something, but Taylor Bray Farm, we've taken plenty of sand there that they use it on their driveway and on their back paths that they like to use it on. Landscapers will take it because they'll use it, but it's not really reusable.
Interesting. Okay. Questions on sand sculptures? Joe? Your wheels are turning.
Yeah,
Mm.
not-
You're not ready yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if you don't mind me adding, Mary, that the glue that's they use to set the sand sculptures is basically like an Elmer's glue. It's not like something highly toxic. It's something that, kids use in school. Just to clarify, I didn't want anyone to think that it was, bad for the environment.
Thank you, Gwen.
You're welcome.
Anybody else?
So for fun, it's just, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to wrap my head around like the right way to fund all this, but so there's $18,000 left in the,
So there's $18,000 left in marketing
Mhm.
that's not encumbered by the current contract. The next request that Mary's and the chamber guys are going to make is, as part of the current chamber contract, there's a line in it for events. And when it was originally considered and voted and offered up, there was a portion of the events. Some events were called out. The Winter Carnival was called out, the Mermaid Festival, and the Christmas Stroll, I think. Did I miss anything that was called out? There was a chunk of money, 34,000 or something like that, that was to be determined. And it was supposed to be determined kind of subsequent to the Zerlanka report and in conjunction with the committee. So the second item on the agenda is related to this first item, because the second item asks to allocate the to be determined across the 3 existing events, and then to take a $10,000 balance and apply that to the sand sculptures, so that you would then have to find the delta, and you could take it from the physical improvements as long as you have enough after the other requests. You have 18,000 plus 10,000 would be 28. So now you have to find 12. 12 is consistent with what was tapped last year for the sand sculptures. I think last year too, going back, I think we used the balance of the undesignated fund.
I think we did, yeah.
That's where it came from.
Because I think at the time, we also discussed, we would do that to clean up that bucket.
That's right.
An expectation that we would now clean this up.
Mhm.
We have an opportunity that we didn't anticipate in terms of round 2 of special events
Mhm.
to clean this up once and for all. And I like taking advantage of that opportunity. If the deadline hasn't come for round 2, it would also put this proposal in the new format that we all agree gets us a lot of answers.
Oh, I understand. So can I see if I'm understanding you correctly? You're suggesting take the sand sculpture trail and make it a special event round 2 application? Is that what you're saying?
Give them the opportunity to compete in that bucket.
That's up to you guys.
Steve, do you have anything to say? I want to make sure we get your comments and thoughts before. we move
No,
on.
I'm just listening. I'm just listening.
He's somewhere warm.
Yeah, somewhere.
Can I just add a comment in if I could? This discussion has happened over and over in the 10 years that I've been here. The committee changes, we have the conversation. So I appreciate where everyone's coming from. The concern I have most right now with doing what you're suggesting, Joe, and you and I have had this conversation one-on-one. Right now this year, I talked to Sean and Tracy already, and they can't wait much longer to get secured. They have other commitments that they're being asked to go do. And if I don't get them confirmed, I can lose them as artists. And it's not as easy just to say, find other artists. I mean, normally by this time of the year, the sand is already ordered because we have to order a special grain of sand in January. It's first come, first serve. And this is Yarmouth's largest marketing initiative that we do. This literally brings thousands and thousands of people to town for the sand sculpture trail. And I would just ask if there's the opportunity to fund it and then change the process next year when we're not on such a tight time frame. I would really appreciate that. And this is one of the largest marketing initiatives that I would advocate for the town of Yarmouth not to lose.
Okay. Questions, comments, anybody?
Yeah, so I have one. What,
Go ahead,
Mary,
Steve.
this is to Mary. What's the drop dead date for the vendor to get the supplies he needs so he'll be ready to go at the appropriate time?
I did not ask Sean and Tracy that today, but I can tell you in all the years past, they have already received their deposit by mid-January to secure them, and the sand has already been delivered, ordered.
What's the deposit?
Half of his cost, so $28,000.
Half of his entire costs.
No, his entire cost is over $50,000.
Right, so half of the 58,790, Mary, on the budget?
Correct. Thank you, Karen. Yes.
So let me ask the question another way then. When do we expect Karen to have the proposals in and a decision made on the round two?
The round two, Steve, is due the 5th or 6th of February. I can't remember which, but I know it's one of those.
Yeah.
Because we lined it up so that you could consider it at your February 11 meeting. I just don't want to muck around with my screen.
Okay. All right.
Anything else, Steve?
Nope.
So Mayor, you're holding an overage of $18,000, is that accurate?
No. No. So the chamber contract for fiscal 24, they did not spend $18,000. So they didn't get a chance to spend it for one reason or another. Some of the events didn't happen. I'm not sure what else didn't happen. But there was $18,000 in that budget. This year for fiscal 25, the budget is 228, and that's fully funded.
Harry, the town has a 14-year relationship with this vendor. They can't wait a couple weeks so we can clean this up.
No, so like I said, Joe, I didn't have the conversation, so I don't know what their drop dead date is. I didn't ask that question of them today.
Okay.
Yeah, if I could say one more thing.
Steve wants to-
Go ahead, Steve.
On the line that Joe was going on just a moment ago there, Joe Manning. Mary, it seems to me last year we were kind of running a little bit late with this gent and his helper as well. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. So he didn't have his startup date confirmed. No, I'm sorry, I'm confusing that. He was looking for additional money because of the cost, et cetera. Yeah, I guess going on with Joe is if we can delay, if he can wait until we can get this straightened out on the February meeting, that's what I would suggest.
I
What do you-
can text him right now and see what his response is. Because there's no guarantee that the funding would be approved. So I'll text him if you like right now and see if I can get a response from him.
Yeah, if we're being pushed to move this along, we would like to know a date that they need it by. I think that'd be appreciated. Thank you.
Okay.
Daniel, did you have anything?
I agree that I want this cleaner than it is. And we said this last year, but we didn't actually clean it up last year is the problem. This year, we're getting a new marketing contract, right? Like it's when we actually get to rewrite it. So we'll be able to decide for certain whether it's either funded in that or goes through special events, no matter what. No matter what, it's getting cleaned up for next year. I don't love changing the expectations in the middle of it. Like, I know that we never said we would fund it, but we always have. And so I don't love changing the expectations in the middle of when she's doing this.
So you would choose to fund it from,
I would
Other
choose to
places.
figure out the funding on it now and clean it for next year. I will obviously do whatever.
well, are there other comments and questions? And then I'll entertain a motion so we can figure out what course of action we want to take. I see your wheels turning again, Gibbs.
Yeah, so, all right, so I know on our next agenda item. is
Yeah.
to potentially reallocate this almost $32,000 that they have in special into other special events. So there's essentially that $32,000
Mhm.
and $18,000 already in our marketing in addition, so it's two separate pieces.
Mhm. Let's just imagine it's two different account numbers.
So within market, to me,
Right.
to me, and just to me, sand sculptures is market.
Mhm.
I can see the
Understand.
event part of it too, but
Mhm.
I've always leaned that it's a marketing. But again, that's.
Mhm.
So I do like the special moving it to the special events and, because it hasn't been cleaned up, but it's been a mess. But I'm completely on board with Danielle saying that some of this is on us for not cleaning stuff. I will say that kind of throwing this here and going, we must make a decision tonight because of timelines. Taken back by that, the chamber, to be honest with you, and I'm actually taken back, and the second item, it's also in here too, that. There was another thing that it's, waiting for our meeting this month hinders their ability to effectively plan the winter carnival. I'm taken back by that also, the fact that. This stuff, and granted, we know some of this is out there, but it's not brought before us. This could have been brought before us a month, 2 months ago before. So I'm a little taken back by the waiting to the end, now we need a decision. I don't think that's on us.
Can I just weigh in as to, I'm Amy, I'm the new marketing and events director, and I've just been with the chamber for about 4 months now. And I have, the winter carnival is my second event, and I am assessing them, each event as they come along, as far as trying to solve some of the issues in past years. And the request for the extra money for Winter Carnival is mostly due to wanting to try to secure a tent that's heated for the vendors. Because last year it was so cold and windy that many of the vendors left in the middle of the event and left the event empty, like right in the middle of the parking lot. So I'm trying one by one to really enhance it. And also, something that I found when I was planning the winter stroll, the Christmas stroll, was that a lot of entertainers, their money, their costs have gone up about double. So a lot of it has to do with that because this year I am booking all the vendors myself, so that will save money instead of hiring someone to do that. But because the vendor costs are so high, I've had to cut down on entertainment. So as far as the winter carnival goes, it's enhancements that are, to me, really necessary for it to be a really productive event.
Thanks, Amy.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, so just back to my thing is that. I would, in the grand scheme of things, I'd love to put this in. This last minute part of this does this, but I think that regardless, this is gonna need to go into. That signature event, whatever you wanna call it, goes into the marketing contract and it's not left out on its own ever again. Or it falls under events. And again, market, I'm just looking at market. So I mean, we do have some money to play with, I mean, if we can get, if there's a response and there's some time, I'd like, my number one thing would be to see it towards events. But I do understand, we've part of the kicking this can down the road without finding a proper solution for it. So I would be amenable to figuring some of that out. That said, I'd like to look at what money is already allocated, so whether it's part of this almost $32,000 that's unallocated. 10,000 of that's going towards the proposed would be go towards or towards that,
16 and have Mermaid Day come for special events.
or potentially something like that. I think we need to figure this.
Danielle, I would say that one comment I have in response to what you said is that we kind of have already changed things midstream by offering tourism second time anyway. So we're not. I understand where you're coming from in terms of holding to a standard, but we've already sort of manipulated that anyway. So I said it's kind of like we didn't anticipate it, but maybe this is the perfect opportunity. And it's only what, 2 weeks? Additional?
Peter?
Why wouldn't Mermaid Day be a special event anyway? Is that what you're saying? Is that it's not? a
Yeah.
special event?
So last year was the first one, and I believe
Yeah.
it came about because, correct me if I'm wrong, Mary, but the food and wine tastes of Yarmouth went away and Mermaid Day came about, correct? As your new signature event?
That is correct.
It's outside the market.
Yeah, and the
No, that's
reason,
within the marketing contract.
It's in it.
I was just gonna, sorry.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, it was such an unexpected, huge success. There were they thought maybe hundreds would show up and thousands showed up. And I think that there's definitely a niche that they found, and it would be definitely important to enhance, just because we were even thinking of having to move it to a bigger beach because the response was so overwhelming. So I just was hoping, because entertainment has gone, if we don't bump it up a little bit because entertainment prices have gone up so high, then we're gonna have to cut some. So I was just hoping that we could enhance that event.
Thanks. Did you have something?
No, I was gonna say though, I think Danielle's suggestion was to have strike Mermaid Day from the current contract, have them apply through the second round of special events, and then that would free up $13,000 in the current contract that could be applied towards the sand sculptures.
Which would get
And
you
then that
much
could-
closer
Is that
to your
correct?
29,000 that we need for a down payment.
And then the mermaid application could be more robust.
Yep.
To their point.
Yeah.
Mhm.
How does Joe?
Is it Ferris wheels time?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
I'm worried
They're
smoke's
going
gonna start coming out
fast
there in
today.
a minute. Your brain is working so hard.
I just had a quick question if I could. I am curious as to, because I haven't been through this process before, when you guys, the phase 2 that you're talking about, the one that's February, the beginning of February, how long is the process of approval from there? The deadline is February 6th?
So the deadline to submit your proposal is the 6th of February. We meet the 11th
Okay.
and vote, so it's a pretty quick turnaround.
Oh, great, because I'm just, it's,
Oh, there's Gwen.
you know how Cape Cod is in the end of June, and getting, securing, there's only so many steel drummers on the Cape, that kind of thing, securing those people, we'd like to start as soon as possible. That's, I just wanted to see what the timeline.
Gwen, I would confirm that day for you either later tonight or tomorrow morning. I'm just not sure if it's the 5th or the 6th.
All right, perfect, thank you.
And I just want to clarify, so under the special events, there cannot be the expense of any staff, correct?
Yeah, no administrative.
Not through the special
not
event
through the
program.
yeah, correct.
Right, so just so that you know, that might determine if we apply or not. Because that
But it
means,
is funded through the chamber's contract.
no, but what I was just hearing is that the additional funding wouldn't come out. I'm just trying to figure out my budget internally, so.
Right. I would say that you can't add any funds if you're already paying for event coordination through the contract.
Correct.
Because that figure's not changing. We haven't talked about that.
No, I
So-
just wanted to clarify. Thank you.
Questions, comments?
So we need to do some math now.
Yes.
Now your wheels are turning.
Those rules.
Don't get that.
So the event line in the contract pays for Amy's. So I think Mary's question was that if we,
The
Do-
event line, I just want to be clear, the event line in the contract doesn't pay for
Well, whatever-
anybody.
right,
The
what-
flat fee pays
the
for
flat fee,
somebody.
but I think
Yeah.
Mary's concern is that if she applies for special event funding, that negates what, but that's not the case.
No.
That's never been the case.
Okay, right?
Yeah.
So-
Well,
So, does anybody, Joe, questions, comments? I'll take a motion.
Yeah, so just, I guess prior to motion, just to get this.
Yeah.
So we'd be looking at what what the chamber already has in there. To be asking to push Mermaid Day to,
Well, the seven's already in the contract. So we, like, just so we're clear, that's pulling that from what's existing in the contract, the seven. We're already changing the contract, so it
Right.
doesn't matter, just so.
Yeah.
we're clear.
right, well, so, well, either 13 or 6, but I mean, if we did 13. Our request or whatever, I'm just like. So that
Yeah,
would put
that's the
13
money.
Plus the 10 would be 23,000.
That's right. And then there's the 18 in the marketing line if you wanted to proceed.
And then
That
that's
way.
already, so that way it's kind of already in marketing, which
Yep.
marketing is kind of,
Mhm.
just my one man's opinion is that marketing is where this sales
Mhm.
culture is, that keeps it all under marketing for this year. Again, this year, very clear
Mhm.
that events, all events need to be revisited going forward in that. So
That's 41,000.
is that,
Right.
would that, you know,
That work for you guys? Does that make sense, Mary?
I couldn't hear him.
Yeah,
You want me
sorry,
to-
it
Yeah.
froze up a
So-
little.
Yeah, can you guys hear me? Good. I'll try to project. I think that, so the thought is that the sand sculpture, and everybody here chime in if I've got it wrong, to fund the sand sculptures rather than having sand sculptures go through the special event phase 2 process. And they would do that by tapping the $10,000 from the TBD money, plus the $13,000 projected budget for the Mermaid Day. And then we have the balance that's in our marketing line, and that would tally up the $40,000. The downside is that you're taking the Mermaid Festival and you're putting it into that round 2 of special events. So that's your, you're it's kind of a bird in the hand, or I don't know, you're picking which event you're prioritizing right now in my mind. And you're either picking the sand sculptures and having the answer right now, but you're putting the mermaids into the competition. Do you follow?
So you're requesting that we make the decision to have the sand sculpture trail, eliminate the Mermaid Day from the contract, and then go into the second round of funding for Mermaid Day if we choose to apply.
Yes.
Yes.
Mhm. Is there an alternative? Or do the sand sculptures? Or what's the alternative? Is there another option, or?
The sand sculpture is what
Yeah.
Well,
goes into the other.
Mary,
Yeah.
let Mary, I thought Mary's gonna answer the question first.
I mean, you're asking me on the spot and I'd like to have a few moments to communicate with my staff and see what their thoughts is.
Okay, I also just want to note that our record of approving special events has been pretty good. So any nerves about that, I just really want to squash that down. We know this is a big event. We know it was a success. You might even be able to pull off more if you go this route, who knows? But any fears about like this event being squashed round two, I want to nix that right now. It's just right. We're doing this to support you and help you and figure out a way to make this work. And so that's, I think, just where the.
I mean, the only other kind of idea, Mary, would be to reduce the scope of the sand sculpture to be within the budget of the 18 plus the 10, the 28. And what could you do for that?
Yeah, I don't think I would reduce it because people have the expectation for the number of sand sculptures and things like that. I'd have to get it re-quoted. There's a lot I would have to do that. And Sean and Tracy may not even do it if it's, half the number of sculptures. So there's a lot, that would weigh on that decision. All right, so give us a few minutes. The three of us will be texting each other in between if you don't mind, because
That's fine. Yep.
this is a team effort here and
Yeah.
it's a big decision to make on behalf of the chamber. So
Thanks. We'll give you some time.
Do you want, I'm gonna move you guys off camera so that you don't feel like we're watching you. Hold on. And if anything happens, just log back in. Hold on. Can someone help me?
I don't know that you can.
You don't know that I don't know if I can move them back.
you know what?
we-
We'll just turn our
You know what, turn your
cameras off.
cameras off. There, that's easier. Thank you. What do you want, John?
Well,
Like
that's
that?
not- Yeah, because it's because you're sharing.
But we have to keep our,
It's fine.
the microphone and the camera for us remain on.
Yeah.
Um,
So I know
That's
Peter has to
cute.
leave at 6. So.
I've got to leave in a little while too. We just spent almost 50 minutes on one item. So,
Yep, we know.
okay.
I think at least we did get a little bit of number. We got a little bit of number 2 knocked out, Steve.
That's right. I want to get every bit of sunshine that I can down here, Joe.
Is it still out?
Yes, it is.
Oh, man.
I think we sort of helped with number 2 a little bit.
I think 2 is kind of right as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's not done, but it's,
Yeah.
Good question for us or?
Yeah, so no. Well, no, number 2, Matt. I mean, is that-
Oh, sorry, I meant.
Oh.
1B.
I was just gonna say, all the chamber stuff with. 2.
2, I want to discuss 2 when we get to 2. That's a
All right.
whole bag of
I
worms.
didn't know if there was something else we could talk, one of the other things.
You could do number 3. You
What's
wanna
2,
do those quickly?
Matikes?
2 is Matikes, yeah.
You want to hold that off, Courtney?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Public improvements?
Yeah, we could get public improvements done.
Okay.
So Karen sent us all the requests. Total request is 124,473.76. Were there any questions, comments, concerns with the applications? We have like 300,000 in this line item, I think, right now, so we have enough.
I was just gonna ask about the signs and conservation areas, and whether it was gonna just be like it's gonna be something nicer.
I think that Brittany put in, I'm trying to scroll down. I put, there's the one. Bear with me, please. So in the application package for the conservation area signs, I'll make it bigger. The idea, and I did talk with Brittany about this, because it is kind of the tourism fund and we want things to look pretty.
Yes,
Um,
just like a metal sign.
Yeah,
They have
so
now, just-
she- she did find a couple of samples of signs that are kind of nicer than the usual just metal, this is page 112, Joe. So there are nicer signs out there, but it probably would be like a metal sign, Joe, that gets posted. She put a couple pictures in here of where they are located, where they don't look so good. She did, Conservation, DNR, and DPW collaborated on this because it really overlaps everybody. But you can see a couple of the old
Like those
signs.
Still look.
Yeah,
great.
and I think that we'd need to buy these and then put them up.
Okay.
Yeah.
With the nicer design on them.
Is the chamber ready? We were just jumping around.
Yes, we're ready.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so we're agreeable to make sure that we can keep the sand sculpture trail going because we think that's one of the most positive things we have going. The question we have though, if we're pulling the funds for the Mermaid Day, will the request for the additional funds for the Winter Carnival be approved?
We haven't voted.
We
but
haven't taken,
didn't touch
And you
it.
haven't
we didn't touch it in
discussed
the reallocation we just described, so, and that's the second item, so. We kind of got to take care of one thing first, but when we said to reallocate Mermaid Day, TBD and marketing, that doesn't touch any of your requests for Winter Carnival,
Correct.
so.
Can I ask a question? Just, and Mary, I'm sorry, I didn't think to ask this when we spoke about it. The $14,000 delta, or maybe Amy can answer. Is that the cost of renting a tent? I mean, I don't know
So the tent, if
that
we
and
want,
the entertainment.
The tent and entertainment.
Correct.
yeah, so the tent is $8,200. And it would be, right now, there isn't consistent entertainment on each day. And I just don't want any day lacking, like being half empty, and I don't want to have to drop entertainers. So it is mostly the entertainment, but also we haven't done a lot of extra marketing in the past, especially digital. And I'd really like to do some Facebook ads and things like that, that we haven't done in the past, just because I could tell that it works so well through the stroll.
Okay, thanks. All right,
All right, so,
if there's other questions, I'll entertain a motion.
all right, so the motion would be sand sculpture for the $40,000, and by doing that contract, it's the $13,000 that was, use 13,000, so. One second here.
I know it's a little
Because
funky.
13,000 from the current,
So it's actually 16,000 would be in that to be determined, so it would be to take 16,000 from the to be determined. Because they already have 1,000 that was towards the Mermaid to begin with, right? So it's kind of trying to figure out what the best way to do that is.
no, I think you were,
right.
you were suggesting to use, so you want to fund $40,000 for the sand sculptures, and you want to
Right.
use $23,000
Right.
of the
What's our-
current event line that's in the marketing contract.
Yep.
So that's 23K plus the balance from that marketing line
Yep.
Yeah, whatever.
to make 40. So that would be 17.
Correct.
Yep.
However
However that shakes out.
Yeah.
that shakes out in a nice easy way.
Okay,
Yep.
okay. I will do a roll call, is there any further discussion? Okay, we'll do a roll call vote.
Aye.
Aye. Courtney Butler, aye.
Joe Manning, aye.
So good side.
Steve?
Steve O'Neill, aye.
So that takes care of that. Thank you, Chamber and friends, so that we could get through that. I know it was a little lengthy, but now we can just move into number 2, which I think might be a little quicker and easier since we've had that discussion. So, sorry, 1B. 1B is about the other requests. So,
to
The 14-19.
approve the proposed changes for the Christmas stroll and the winter carnival.
No, it's just the winter carnival at 14,915, right?
Yeah, we.
Yeah,
already
I
did this.
took liberty, I approved the, because it was nominal. So Joe made that motion, Joe Gibbs?
All those in favor or any discussion?
Peter Slovak, aye.
Neil Newcomb, aye.
Courtney Butler, aye.
Joe Gibbs, yes.
Okay,
Aye.
thank you, Steve. Does that sound good to everybody?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you all.
So good. I think,
Is that it?
let me go to Zoom. Do you have two other items on the,
Yep. Okay,
the
so
chamber
next is,
thing.
with the Sri Lanka special event report. Mary, do you want to give us an update on that? We did receive the changes, so thank you. And thank you to Eric, for getting those.
No, just for the entire committee. I know Karen and Courtney know this. Sri Lanka in December sent two more of their staff members down. They did revisit some of the sites. They also went to the cultural center and then updated the document to try to address all of the areas that they missed and any additional questions that they had from the committee and the staff.
So I guess my big question, Mary, is how do you guys intend to use this report? How do you guys intend to use this report to help the future? And what did you
Well,
take?
I
that was
I
important?
think it would help support, number one, in the past, we've talked to the town about improving some of the infrastructure for events at existing sites. It also helps us identify potential new sites and also some new events. I have to say, some of the events that they suggested, we've considered, but unfortunately, not having the adequate space and infrastructure for events right now. I think once the drive-in site is open, that might change and give us some new opportunity. Some of the events that they proposed, we wouldn't do because we wouldn't want them in conflict with our town of Dennis and Hyannis. The example is a car show at one point, I think I read in here. So some of it supports what we already knew, and some of it gives us some new thought, new idea. I know some of the town staff was looking at what they would charge for specific sites if an event promoter were to come to town. So I think that formula that he provided, I think we pretty much knew that, but at least it outlines us for the town so that they can hopefully determine what those rates would be for the use of space.
Are there any comments or questions from the committee members? Okay, awesome. Well, please send Eric our thanks for sending more people down and making the changes we requested. And we look forward to seeing how some of this gets implemented.
Great.
The next item is the jingle proposal license agreement. Do you want to talk on that, Karen?
no, just, I had reached out to town council. And Mary had provided us with a draft plan. So we put those together. I just wanted to put it into the packet. I know there were edits. Council had used Cape Cod Chamber, and we fixed that. I don't know, Mary, you were gonna send it to your council to have them review it, but I wanted to just share it with the committee to see. I know we had some conversation about the jingle and how it should be used. And just to get your feedback to see if you want to recommend that the town execute this agreement.
I can tell you, Karen, that our attorney did review it today and got back to us that they had no problem with us signing it. So,
Yeah,
Okay.
it's pretty benign.
yeah. So
Did you
once
ever-
I get back to the office, I'll sign it and send that over to you, and then Amy can work her magic, and maybe even implement it for the winter carnival.
Awesome. Joe Gibbs, did you have a question?
Yeah, so I just had a question, like, I guess, but, the jingle may only be used by the chamber. What if the town wants it?
We can use it.
They can still use it even though they're giving their.
We've licensed it, but it's, I mean, here's the thing, I don't know that we will use it.
Yeah.
But, and Mary's made points about how it should be used. And, you know, I think that if we want to use it, we will talk with Lori, Sullivan and see how she'd want to do it. You know, I think it's a partnership here. And we have the jingle, the chamber's probably going to be the primary user because it's really visitor,
Mhm.
driven.
But I just didn't
Yeah.
want, if it was completely, if the town.
I don't
wanted to
think-
use it
I
for
don't-
whatever reason,
I'll
If they
double check. I
want-
don't think it gives full license that we can't use it.
Right. that was-
So we could use it if we wanted to.
Okay. All right, no other question? Did you have something?
You can do anything on it?
I don't think so. It's already, yeah.
No, I just wanted to share the update. and
Yep.
Let you know, I'll pop a memo on top and send it across the hall to get signed. Mary will send me her signature and then if Taylor Swift wants to use it, we could make money.
Anyway,
Or we can let her use it.
she
Use
should
it
be our
to-
mermaid.
She'll be singing about Kansas City then.
Yeah. Okay, so our next item on the agenda, that's all of our chamber stuff. We're gonna talk about the Matakees next. You're welcome to stay, but I know you all are feeling a little under the weather and this probably didn't help that much. So please drink your fluids and stay rested.
Thank you,
Yes.
everybody.
Before I go, I just want to thank everyone for inviting us in and allowing us to participate.
Thanks for
Yeah.
coming, Gwen.
Thanks, Gwen.
Take care.
I
Bye-bye.
look forward to meeting you all in person when we're not for me.
Yeah, thanks, Amy. We too.
All right.
Thanks for staying home.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
All right. So we'll move into the Matakees next. Where do we start with this? So
So, well, we had I'm gonna go back to the packet. Share.
Karen,
So-
while you're doing that, can I just say something?
Yeah,
Yeah.
please.
Hats off to Kathy for the package, the piece that she prepared as far as
Yeah, the zoning
the
analysis,
zoning analysis and everything else that went along. That it was
Yeah.
very,
Yeah.
very helpful, very helpful.
kind of awesome.
Yeah. I
I will
mean-
let her know.
It does really point out there's some real restrictive areas on the site that's going to impede upon a lot of these ideas that we might come up with, so. But we couldn't have done it without her, but this nice piece that she did.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
will let her know, Steve. Thank you for that.
okay, so we're scheduled to meet on January 27th. Just a heads up, the process has changed sort of slightly. We were originally scheduled to meet with the chamber. We will be meeting separately now. So Bill Scott sent me and Karen an email today, and we were supposed to get a memo, and I'm sure we will, but he says the chair of the MUC will be sending a memorandum updating people on the status of the project. In this regard, there's been a determination that the chamber group in the form of local businesses and the CEDC should hold separate MUC around meetings. The ability to derive unfiltered advice from local businesses is a rare opportunity. And as such, the first meeting will be separate between the two groups, the second to develop the 3 ideas, and the third for the 1 idea will be joint meetings. I'm sending this in the event dual meeting planning is underway. Each group should return. So we've told Bill our meeting dates, which are staying the same for us. So we'll just be meeting, we'll do our own muck around, toss all of our ideas on the board, chamber will do theirs, and then we'll come back together for the second piece. So that's the update I
We'll
have.
figure that out. So we've got the, I will work with Courtney to put together an agenda for that meeting, because it'll be a public meeting for us. And working with Lori Sullivan to get someone to monitor the Zoom, because it'll be a hybrid meeting. And that way I won't have to monitor the Zoom.
We're still gonna go to PD.
And still
Yeah.
go to the YPD. So the first meeting on January 27th, that will be at the YPD in their meeting room at
5.
5 o'clock. And then the second meeting is February 24. Again, that one will be at the YPD. And the third meeting is March 31, and that one will be in the hearing room. And I just asked Mary, if we're combining forces, do we know that your core group can make those dates?
They're going to get an email this week that those are the follow-up dates.
Okay,
Okay, great.
thank you. Okay,
Just question.
yeah,
Is it possible? I used to see what, I've been in it for a
Yeah.
little bit since then, but not
Yeah.
since I attended school there, which was
Yeah.
a couple years ago.
The housing committees are going to go for site walks. And I could arrange the same, or if you stay out of quorum, you could tag along and I can send you those dates, which are this week. They're, I think one is Thursday and one is Friday. I'm not sure that they're gonna get into the buildings.
Opportunity to actually get in, just kind of take a look and see what,
that's not.
as far as, reuse, it would be nice to see what,
Mhm.
because I'm assuming demolition isn't the only option that's on the table, is to actually reuse what's.
Wasn't there an
What's there?
evaluation?
There is an evaluation, so there is, if you haven't looked, I'm gonna go. I'll send you all this link. Mary, I don't know if can you see my screen, Mary? It's got the town's website on it.
No, I'm just seeing the
Let me-
memorandum.
Okay, I'm gonna stop and share.
All right, thanks, Peter.
Okay. Yeah, it doesn't sound promising, reuse, but there is a website. I've got it up here. I can send you all the link. It has some materials. Oh, it looks like it's been added to. But there are some items here. I'm hoping that there will be a way to add the information from all the different groups. So the housing committee, what have they been talking about? See their minutes.
Mhm.
They did ask that a CEDC person, if someone is interested, to attend their meeting.
The housing meeting?
Yeah,
Okay.
and that is, bear
So
with
it
me,
looks
sorry.
like there's-
Oh, it's the 22nd.
Okay. Their site visit is Thursday at 11, just so.
And then is there one on Friday as well? Are you in the agenda center? Two.
Yes, Friday at 1.
Yeah.
Yes,
Joe wants to go.
I don't have any interest in going. I've seen the site. So I don't want to cause any form.
It's a good opportunity. I mean, I don't know if you want, or you can't go.
Yeah, you gotta mold young minds.
You're in session.
I mean, it's so 11 on Thursday and 1 on Friday.
I'll send you the agenda, Joe.
So if anybody wants to go to those, just make sure there's not 3 of you. Well, I guess Steve's not going.
You can go to both if you like.
So, so yeah, was there anything else that you had on Muck?
No, I think just that we started thinking about,
Mhm.
when we were meeting with Mary too, the format for the meeting. And so just keep in mind that the first meeting really is brainstorming. All ideas are good ideas. We'll follow up before the 27th with, refresher information with the latest.
Yep.
But I do hope that the website is going to be utilized because
Yep.
we have so many different groups looking for basically the same information.
Last time we were talking about this, we sent you back with some generic starter questions.
Don't recall the questions, I'm sorry. I know you had asked about the report and we forwarded that out.
Do they want to pay for it themselves? Do they want a public-private partnership? Do they want to sell the property?
Yeah, I don't think that they.
I don't
know.
think there's any answers yet.
Yeah, they have, I don't know that they're. I mean, we don't even have a liaison assigned to us. I'm not really sure
Right.
what's,
We
what,
also asked about this zoning issue too, I think. Are the zoning in the Springtown meeting?
No, not at
no.
the Springtown meeting. There will be no zoning changes at the April town meeting.
Is the CWMP gonna be altered to put this in? future trails,
Right,
all
you're,
that
you're
stuff?
refreshing my mind, and I don't think that we have the answers to those questions yet.
So
So
do they have any idea when they think of what the parcel's actually gonna entail now, that the school's moving forward with the
I think that we don't, I think we
Oh,
don't
it's
know
small.
when the school is gonna move. So, or where it's gonna be. The school is part of this. There's a lot of unknowns. So I think it's really kind of very high level brainstorming with your ideas. There is, and I haven't shared it because I know Bill's still working on it, a
Like a form.
kind of form to fill out. So hopefully we'll have that in
Okay.
time for the meeting.
So come with your ideas on the 27th. And we'll,
And the housing
Well-
committee meeting is on the 22nd.
What
I
time?
I know because I won't be here.
what time is it?
It will be at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
I might be able to pull that off.
That's the one I wanna go to. I don't really care to go to the tour.
Oh, you don't care about the tour. You want to,
I wanna go.
Okay.
well, and here's the thing. I think there's a seat for CEDC. As long as you don't go as a quorum,
Yeah,
it's fine. And the meetings will be, they're public meetings.
right.
And one thing Courtney and I talked about as well, and I know it's the case for the housing meetings, is there'll be an agenda, but then there will be public comment. Just to encourage to remain transparent, let
Mhm.
people have an
At the end of the
opportunity
agenda.
to participate, but at the meeting, you don't necessarily have to, similar to
Yeah.
like the Board of
It's
Selectmen
a
do.
one-way, that leaves it for one-way conversations. People can give us their public comment. We don't have to respond and get into it. That's just how public comment works, is that it's supposed to be one way, because if it wasn't on the agenda, but it's just a good way to
Right,
let people
to
participate.
hear
and sit in.
people. And you might hear a great idea.
The
I
housing.
believe the housing is downstairs. I'll send you all those agendas.
I didn't wanna preempt anyone else, but if other people wanna go. They're precluded, right? It's 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Steve's in Florida.
Who's in Florida?
I'll touch
I
base
think
with you. I
he's
might
in-
be able to go. You want to go on a tour though, right? If you want to make one of those, or do you just want to?
Yeah, Thursday and Friday is work.
Okay.
That's,
Yeah,
I
and
just
if,
figured that might be a good.
I think that if you-
I would imagine that
Yeah.
they would do a site visit for all of us at some point. I just don't know when.
Yeah. I think too, you should feel free, especially on the weekend. I think you don't want to be walking around school property during the day when school's going on.
You put a mask over your head and walk around.
Yeah, I gotta wait
Joe.
for that time. It could be above 50 degrees.
Run the camera.
No scaring children or
Right.
teachers or people.
Get them a balaclava.
It's a nice 50 degree plus day.
Yeah,
Right, but you could go take a walk around and carry one of the maps. There's a couple of maps up here on the website. And what I'd offer out to you guys is if you do see things online that you would like hard copies of, just let me know and we'll print them here because we can print the larger size.
Mark. Right, so we'll meet again on the 27th. All right, back to number 3, public improvements. So we were talking about conservation signs. I think the ones that Brittany provided as a sample look great, but I do hear your point, Joe, that like the green with the faded white lettering is not cute. So I did like her ideas.
You guys seen the ones that the Harwich Land Trust has on?
I don't think so.
No, are they nice?
Yeah, they are. They're simple. They're sort of a two-color design that's similar to the ones that we were shown, but I think they're more square. They might even be made out of a different material, because these ones look like metal, the ones that they're showing.
They do, but where do you have a photo?
I don't, but I can get one.
Would you?
The Harwich Conservation Land Trust has a bunch of them on the bike path, and they're subtle, they're green and like a tan background.
Yeah.
They're sharp,
Kind of like this.
Oh,
whatever their logo
Is
is.
this what that's a
Not
trailhead. So the thing that you want to remember is these are on these are mostly for conservation areas that don't have
Public access.
public access and trails. And so the idea here is it's a reminder that, hey, this is, and I kind of, it's like, it's really conservation land because it's not being
Yeah.
really used. And it's a reminder that this conservation land's here, this is nice, please don't dump it.
Well,
on it.
absent of a bike path going through it, I think those are the same types of lands that,
Mhm,
that are.
probably.
Cause it's just like it's, pine forest as far as you can see. So I can get a sample of that, but I think there's a lot of composite materials out there that long time, and we could get in design we wanted to. We have a new seal and that's an appetite.
So would you like her to look for something different or?
I guess. I assume they talk to one another, these conservation.
Oh, they do. They definitely
Well,
do.
the Conservation Land Trust is a nonprofit. It's not part of the town.
that's right.
Separate entity.
So,
So,
okay,
yeah,
so
but
that's-
I'm sure they do all talk.
That's maybe why they look so good.
Yes,
because-
it's a whole nonprofit entity.
I mean, I'd actually rather put a maybe money at it and have something that's nice, that's gonna last. I would not support the green, I would not support the green aluminum signs that look, that
Yeah,
look like
Rusty,
like the ones that were up there, just newer.
it was page 112.
It would be just nice to make something look really nice and welcome.
Yep.
How many are they asking? How many are they planning on?
They were asking for 15.
Yep, and they listed the
Oh, yeah, I
parcels.
see them.
Aren't these similar to the ones they used last year?
No.
Hmm.
So Steve, I don't know if you cut the let me, I'm trying to share my screen. Hold on. So the concept is similar to last year, yes.
Right.
But the idea and the two points that I'd want to share with you, Steve, is one, Brittany's kind of found some samples
Yep.
of signs that are better looking than just the ones that say, conservation land, don't dump or something like that.
Yep.
But the other point, and this is true for the kiosk signage question, the signage proposal as well, these are folded together, is that it is called out in the open space and recreation plan. So it
I
gets
know.
to your point of tying things back to the
Yeah,
plans.
that's good.
Right, I got that,
Um,
yep.
So, but I think that Joe was suggesting perhaps an even nicer sign, that there's, I don't know, reticence towards the highway metal signs.
Good word.
That's a good one.
Lettuce.
So I don't, how would you like, do you want to go, so here's the thing.
Yeah.
Do you want to go, last year we went through these, or a year and a half ago, we went through these kind of quickly. You guys called out questions that I shared with the requesters.
Yep.
And then you invited them in for interviews to kind of answer the questions they had and just to give them a little face time to discuss the project more thoroughly. We can do that, or we can go through each of these and you can vote if you want. I think we put possible vote on the agenda. So it's your pleasure.
Only two things I had with all of them. One was these signs weren't
You-
aluminum signs, and the price tag on the park bench is kind of red flag for me. But
As too high or too low?
it just seemed like a lot. but that
It's
was
the,
just- I think they wanted like
Yeah.
$20,000 for park benches, and I was kind of like, whoa.
the prices came from the Riverwalk bid.
Right.
For the benches. So it's a current figure.
We're under a bench moratorium.
I agree, but this site doesn't have hardly any benches.
So
Okay.
back to the sign thing too, is there any way that we could maybe separate the two? Cause I do feel like these conservation signs in whatever form they ultimately manifest, are a good thing to have. It shows that we care about our open space and we're doing something to protect it.
Yep.
This large kiosk thing is not, I'm not a huge fan of. Don't like the collage that we currently have,
Right.
but I don't necessarily like this big placard thing.
Steve, can you see the packet that I have on the screen?
Not only can I see it, but I'm gonna jump on right where Joe's finishing up here. And that is, I
Yeah.
don't want to see anything having to do with a kiosk at all, kiosk sign. And I'll tell you why. Because we have not decided, even though some people in the administration have, I think, decided on what type of sign that we want to have for the town. I am opposed right now to a kiosk because if we do a kiosk here, I think we're going to tie ourselves town-wide into kiosk signs all over the place. And I'm not so sure that's the appropriate thing that we ought to be doing. And I mean, I think a better strategy may be rather than a kiosk, something a smaller sign, but also looking at getting some Wi-Fi down to these locations, which you're probably going to need for a kiosk at some point anyways. So I'm opposed to anything having to do with the kiosk. I don't think it's in part of any open space and recreation plan either. So doesn't tie back to anything. This is the same old thing that we saw last time around. So I'm just opposed to it.
Yeah, and I think there are two different kiosks things that were sort of, there's two different uses of the word right now. The kiosk we're talking about right now is this 3-poster wooden one. The other kiosk you're talking about is the electronic one the chamber and administration think should go at the beaches that we haven't really touched yet, but it is interesting that they both have the same name. It's like and function. But good points all around. So I mean, I'm inclined to either we can take these individually, and if we really only have questions on conservation, I'm fine asking Brittany to come back. But I'll whatever you all want is fine with me.
I like your idea of taking them individually.
Okay. So why don't we start at the top then?
So
We'll start with Yarmouth Senior Center beautification. $30,000 is their request.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to say so. I'm okay with that. I don't have a problem. I think it's if we can involve the senior citizens as part of this, I think it's a good idea. I don't think they're looking for 30,000 though. I think their total request, the grant request is for 20,000.
Oh yeah, sorry. 20.
Yes, you're right.
20.
So
That's
I'm-
on 106.
I mean, I don't know if it ties necessarily back into an open space and rec plan, but I think it's part of the overall senior citizen type of thing. And it can involve some of the seniors and as part of this project, I think it's a good thing.
I think this application could have been stronger. I thought it was. Motivation for this project is so that the seniors would feel appreciated by the town. Sort of left me more motivation for. I mean, I kind of thought, in my mind, an application that provided a space where they could then garden seemed like a smarter use of place that's supposed to be a center for active aging or whatever they're calling senior centers now.
They do have an existing community garden at the senior center.
Okay, so then that begs the question, is that location lacking? Does it need to be expanded or is it?
So do you just want more, you're looking for some more details?
Well, they're asking us to do, they're really asking us for a beautification program. Right? That involves cutting down trees and putting in new plants and irrigation. And to Steve's point, it's not really part of any master plan. I don't disagree that keeping the seniors happy is healthy is a good motivation. It's just, I wish there was a little more dynamic of a response rather than what we got. Create the appearance. I mean, we're there twice a year to vote. That's a motivation, but.
Okay, do we want to bring them in for questions? Okay.
It's number 2 for collaboration with the garden club, like the garden club does that.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right there.
Beautiful area there. Maybe
They might
some-
do the one at Forest Road and
What, Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts,
there may be
Scouts,
some
the Scouts.
collaboration
gender neutral discounts.
No, they do have like an army. Seems like they have a bunch of people that.
Always see people out
I
there
don't say any
saying
more
that.
than what I'm saying right now.
So,
So I mean, if we're, I'll take a motion if anybody wants to make one, or we can keep talking about it or bring them in.
I'll make a motion to approve the amount for beautification as described in the application for $20,000.
Thank you. Is there a second?
second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Danielle?
I don't know what rabbit resistant plantings are or what they're exactly planning on
Yeah, I thought they ate
doing
everything.
with this. But I also don't particularly care about it. Like, for me, I think that, like, if you want to, like, I would agree this is public improvement.
Mhm.
I don't really get it. I think it could be better spent, but I don't think that it doesn't fall under this category. Like, most of our population is senior center
Yeah,
participants.
okay. So your vote would be? Yeah.
I'm going aye.
Okay, Courtney Butler, aye.
Go give support CSI.
Steve?
Steve O'Neill, aye.
Motion.
Okay. Just checking, you didn't change your mind in the last
Oh,
few
so-
minutes.
No,
Five people now. Okay, so next is the Yarmouth Revolutionary War Monument. This one, I think we've kind of known about. We've talked to Bob Kelly a ton. This aligns with other things that we've been thinking of and select board goals and all that stuff. So any questions or comments?
that my only question, Courtney, is this is for the design of the bigger monument, correct?
This is funding, so you've already approved money for the
Yes,
design.
right.
And that was the $25,000. So
Right.
we just today issued the RFP for the monument itself, which includes the design. And so I think that they've included, if you look at 1, 2, 3, 4 paragraph down, they are requesting some flexibility with the 25. They may not
Yeah.
need the full 25 for design. The bids that we're asking for, they're going to give us a design price and a build price. And they're asking for an additional $50,000 to ensure that there's enough funding. It's to help add contingency. CPC has supported this. It will go to the town meeting. And we are budgeting conservatively.
Yep.
And just trying to make sure we have enough money to make it happen without delay.
I'm getting all that. I'm just a little confused. Is the money he's asking for, the additional $50,000 is exactly for what? Design or?
That's going to be for the construction, the fabrication. It's $50,000 to ensure there's enough funding for materials, design, and fabrication of the monument.
See, I was all set with, except for that word design. He's got design in there.
Oh, it's in there again.
That's
The
what's
25 is already there, Steve. It's not, we're not gonna, it won't be used. You could, if you're supportive of this, you could
Yes, I am.
suggest that the additional 50 not be used, be contingent upon not being used for design. I think
So that's my,
that's just a error. Good catch.
Madam Chair, that's my motion, that we move $50,000 for construction for the monuments, not for design.
Okay.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Danielle?
Aye.
Courtney? Aye.
Joe Manning,
Joe Gibbs, aye.
Steve? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so now we're back to conservation. So we can bring Brittany in, we can have Karen tell her our recommendations, our questions, and we can bring her back in. Maybe she'll have a new quote or new design or materials or something like that. What are people feeling?
I wanna fund half of it. I'm gonna fund the.
15 conservation signs?
So-
Have a better, more consensus on what these kiosks need to look like townwide, that we don't start funding things out of, you know, less than clear direction.
So The budget request was
3,000.
itemized for the kiosk and the signage.
Right.
I would probably want to make a motion that we fund $3,000 with this application for the conservation signs. That my motion if I was to make it.
As long as they look nice.
Do you want to see the design?
As long as they look nice. I don't wanna say as long as they look nice. I think, as I said before, I think we need to mark the land that we've chosen to preserve and then all the conservation land sort of has these signs on it, so it's not like,
No, I'm with you. I just want, it'd be something nicer than.
Yeah, it's not gonna be that.
that's- Yeah, that's all. And I would support more additional funding to have something that's nicer, that's gonna, last longer and not like in 5 years look like that.
if I
That's
remember
all.
correctly though, Joe, these signs right here were the ones that we were told were made by the DPW, which we no longer do.
The green ones, yes.
Those aren't the signs we're gonna get. We're gonna get
You're gonna get,
these other signs. like
which are
this,
purchased,
which are bought.
but,
I hope it would be like, Yarmouth, town of Yarmouth
Yeah.
conservation area.
And I've read some articles that it's been shown that these things do work when it tells people not to pollute. Like those
Yeah.
man covers that has the fish on it that says, please don't dump here.
love
Those
those.
actually do work for whatever reason. It stops people from.
I mean, I'd love to see even a code on it that you can scan and find out more information about that conservation area, I'd like to even go like to that next level. You've now come to the Racer conservation area and this
Mhm.
is, it's a
Now-
38 parcel, whatever,
But you just
You know.
increased the cost though, because it's now it's a one-off sign now.
No.
well, it could just be for that one particular. But you could just have one like QR code that would go to thing for all the
Yeah.
conservation areas.
The only thing I'd say on
But-
some of those is they're not necessarily in kind of pedestrian locations.
not
So,
a path or anything.
Right. They're unnamed conservation parcels.
Okay.
But it's a good point, and I'll let Brittany know your thoughts, because
I'm just, I'm like, almost like take this to the next
Yeah.
level.
Absolutely.
I would support
Yeah.
taking this to the next
Yeah.
level, that's all.
thank you.
Okay,
It actually backs up what we're talking about too, because if the kiosks had QR codes on them, that would
Yeah.
interfere. Like, let's just put Wi-Fi down the beach and let everyone use their phone like they do anyway.
Yep. all right, so we have a motion on the table.
So Joe Manning made a motion to fund $3,000 for the conservation
15
signs.
Conservation signs.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor, Danielle?
Hi.
Courtney, aye. You?
I made the motion.
Okay, but
You
still
have to
say aye.
vote.
You still have to vote.
So many,
Steve?
Steve, I,
Thank you. Okay, so we're gonna leave, what do we want to do with the other requests? The
Oh,
kiosk?
so the kiosk is, do you want to vote it?
I mean, it sounds like if we voted, it might be.
Okay, I mean, you
But
can take
I'm-
no
yeah,
action
We can take no
until
action, or
later.
we can still have a vote, yeah, whatever. Go ahead, Steve.
I would suggest that we hold off until we get some more clarity from the town administration as to exactly what is going to be going forward, our signage program for the town.
Okay, thank you. Next is Chasebook Park, interpretive signs and benches, 37,720. And you had a question on this, right, Joe Gibbs?
Well, this is back to those same kind of signs.
Yeah.
isn't it?
No,
No,
these are different
these ones
signs.
like
These are
the-
interpretive signs. Exactly. Like at Indian Memorial. So they'd be placed to provide information to park goers that describe the area. They might provide some education on what used to be there. My personal favorite idea for this park is to have the way back sign where it talks about, hey, this used to be
Yeah,
Rascals. It used to be a motel, and
Yeah.
now it's this beautiful park. And we've come, I think it's,
Rascals is beautiful.
I'm sure it was, but I've never been, but things like that. But it could talk about the ecology of the site. It's, this park is going to be a demonstration for low maintenance native species, that kind of thing. So there'll be a sign about that. It's it's kind of cool. That's the interpretive signs,
Okay,
what they are.
I have a question.
They didn't, we didn't, but I thought of it.
Why was this location chosen from all the others?
What do you mean from all the others?
Well, I mean, there's other parks in the town. Why was this one picked out?
Because this is a new one, Steve. So this is at, it's 3 parcels right in West Yarmouth.
Yeah.
There was 2 pocket parks. One was called Chasebrook Park and one was called Mill Creek Park. And the parcel that was in between was a motel. It was the Yankee Village Motel, and the town
Okay.
acquired it way back when. And the concept now is to build a master park. We've secured CPA funding. We're asking for additional CPA funding, and we also got I think it's $450,000 from the Southern New England, an ecological group.
right.
We just got matching funds. And the idea, it's a reuse, it's a park in West Yarmouth. It's got an incredibly beautiful vista.
All right.
A big part of this project is invasive species management. There's huge stands of Phragmites that block the view.
Okay.
But this is the parcel, when you drive in from Hyannis and you go, geez, where's the beach? Where's the water? It's right there.
Right.
It's stunning.
Did you
Or
just say
will
that?
be.
Did you just say they're going to be doing a master plan for the park?
That's what we're working on. So right now we're in the middle of permitting.
Yep.
So what are our permitting steps that we have left? We have a DRI exemption request into the Cape Cod Commission, Army Corps of Engineers, and a Chapter 91 license.
Okay.
And then we'll be done. It should go to bid. I don't know if Brittany I don't think she put the schedule in. It could have a fall start if we have all our permitting in place. The tricky
Okay,
part
thank-
here is the invasive species, which have to be addressed, in certain times of year and for 3 years.
I'd make a motion to approve in the amount requested.
second. Any further discussion? All right, roll call vote.
$2,500 bench is a lot of money.
It'll be a good bench.
Yeah.
It'll be installed well and it should be easy to maintain.
Danielle Nicolai.
Courtney Butler, aye. Gibbs,
Aye.
Steve said aye.
Steve,
Okay,
I gotta jump off you guys.
okay, thanks, Steve.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye, Steve. Stay
Take
warm.
care.
So that covers that. Okay, so next is the marketing contract discussion. I guess just in the interest of time and how this is gonna work with everything else we have going on. Noodling this over, I think it might be best if we do a subcommittee for this. 2 people kind of look at what we have heard the things that we've been saying at meetings and kind of do like a first run through of ideas and can come back to us in February and March. I think we want to get this issued by what? May? April?
May would be good.
May, yeah, because so we have some time, but just because of everything else we've going on, and it might just be a better process if we break it up into a subcommittee.
And I'm happy to help. And then the other, will also be able to engage Lori Sullivan, who's our communications person. And she can help us through some of the marketing products. So I just want to know, I know Courtney was able to access it and Joe Manning was able to access it. Joe Gibbs and Danielle,
I read it.
You read it? Great. So you got that link, no problem? Awesome. Were you able to as well? Fantastic.
Sweet,
We have a new method for big files then.
good.
I
So,
wanna be on the subcommittee.
okay. Does anybody else?
I want to be on the subcommittee.
Does anybody else?
I'd like to be on the side, so I don't know, maybe we could just have a.
So what's 3 would be a quorum?
I
Or
think
four is a
that
quorum?
4 is a quorum.
Okay. So,
So you can have
I wasn't
3.
last.
I'm,
Just have some strong
I
opinions on
personally,
this.
so here's the thing, I don't have time. You've all, I think, know my opinions. And I think we've been at enough meetings to know what each other's thinking and what ideas we're looking at as a whole. So I'm fine entrusting it with the 3 of you. if that's the subcommittee that you want to have and you guys can work it out, if that works for you all.
And I very much like the idea of the communications person.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, I'd love
being
to get
part of
Lori.
that subcommittee.
Yeah, yeah, I'd love to
Yeah,
get Lori's feedback.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so why don't we, do we need to,
So we got Joe Gibbs, Joe Manning,
Danielle,
and Danielle.
do we need to like formally appoint them?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I'd ask for, so I'll reach out to you guys, you three offline about scheduling. And you can let me know what your constraints are. And then the other thing, if the committee has any other, I tried to give you all the information and organize it best I could. I added a spending page in there, so you can see what we've been buying. And I think that if you want like, the next step of detail would be looking at invoices. If you want to look at invoices, just to get a better feel for kind of what exactly have we bought that was in categories. You can do that, but if there's any other information that you want, just let me know and I'll try to put it together if we can.
Just looking through all that, it looked like the chamber was the only one that applied to the.
I think the chamber was the only one the last round. It's been a long time. I can't tell you how many times we've bid it out. Probably 4, possibly 5. When did we get the tourism fund come in?
What was it, 18, 16? No. When was
20,
earlier than
no, it
that?
was well
early-
before
yes,
that. It predated, I think it predated CPA, which is 2005.
Can you just refresh my memory on like how this all
So
came about? Because no other towns do this, so I'm just wondering how this all.
Right, so I think that the town, the CEDC, or then it was called YERC. It was the Yarmouth Economic
We're great at
Revitalization Committee,
acronyms.
right? Together with the chamber, they worked up the
Okay.
special legislation that was voted, and I think it was 2006. That's the year.
Yeah.
It is, so it was right around CPC, but maybe after, and put together the special legislation, which town meeting voted and then was approved at the legislature. And then it's been modified, I think just the once, to allow for the short-term rental.
That was the most recent one.
Yeah, and it's been a while.
Yeah.
So we have all the figures on that tourism fund.
Okay.
But it was interesting. I mean, I'll just tell you guys, the very first time, we did have at least 2 respondents. So other people have been interested. But
Yeah, it might be
It's-
interesting. You don't know who's living down here now. Who's
Yeah, I feel like
who's
there's more and
interested-
more people are remote, but
remote, interested, marketing. I mean, yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah, we're calling Cape Cod Chamber putting in a couple
Yeah.
times, I think.
I don't think so.
They did.
I don't recall. I know that just the first time I remember, it was a marketing firm and the chamber had applied and we tried to encourage collaboration, and that wasn't gonna happen. And
So what was gonna happen?
collaboration, we had 2 bidders and we
Who
tried
was
to, I can't tell you off the top of my head, Joe, because it was like 15 years ago.
So that's.
I have it
that
in the
is point,
records,
though,
but
'cause if it- The question of the chair. If we're going to do this, is there anything that you want us? Want to put up any guardrails or give us any goals or?
No, I mean, I think just you've heard what we've all thought about. The only thing that really I'm concerned about the most going into this is that everything is okay procurement wise. So when we do procurement for this, you can't be so specific that it eliminates other people being able to apply, those sorts of things. So, and I know that our procurement staff and you, and we all know that. So just making sure that, I think we kind of already know what we want. You guys have seen it, but I don't have any guardrails. I want to see what you all come up with and bring back. But yeah,
Yeah, I know going back and reading the original contract, rather than going to, the 25 and 20, going back to like that 2023. Reading what the town put out, and then A lot of it's like, okay, this is kind of what we want, and then the chamber goes, okay, this is how we're gonna do this, which then
Mhm.
leaves a lot of room to, you know, they
Mhm.
can stretch, or whoever,
Right.
just the chamber, whoever can. Okay, this is what marketing means to us, opposed to, you know, we want marketing.
Yeah.
Then this is how it means to us, so I think some of that,
Yeah,
maybe we
clear
wanna put some a
definitions.
little clearer definitions as to.
And
what that is.
expectations, yeah.
And expectations, but right, I mean, it did leave a lot of room
For
for whoever the
interpretation.
applicant is to put it out there, so. you
Yeah.
know, and I know that each year it goes up, kind of, it seems to jump up, and this, I was trying to read there, it's like, wait, you know, I understand the prices go up, and there is gonna be that, but like 20% every year that. Like, I wasn't, I
Right.
was missing that, and that, how that worked, where,
Well,
you
and
know, and I think it was like a 1-year contract with the option to renew it. To
Right.
like a 3, if we can do
And-
3 years, why are we not
right.
doing a 3-year contract?
And I think that's something to look at.
Yeah.
Because I've always had the understanding that we can't. Unless you have all the money in the bank, I don't know that you can do that. So, do you know what I mean? We can't encumber, so
Right.
the reason we revisit this
Every year.
annually is because it's an annual appropriation. And so it's always subject to funding.
Every
3 years. So you can renew the longest a contract can live, like a service contract like this, is 3 years.
I have a logistical question about the subcommittee.
Mhm.
If there's 3 of us on this subcommittee, it's gonna have to be a public meeting.
I'm gonna confirm with the town clerk, is what I'll do, because your committee is 7 people.
Even though we have 6 tonight.
Even though you have 6 sitting.
Yeah.
So I'll ask Mary,
So I think.
Kozlowski.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it looks like, yeah, I think if it's looking like 3 is not gonna be conducive to that, then yeah, I'd be fine with 2. So,
And
yeah,
I'd
thanks.
be
Joe.
willing to, you know, as I did the last one, I'd be able to.
Thank you, Joe.
I'm sure that I could still put my notes in under the door, or even here, I'll give you my.
And you can
notes.
always talk to me.
Yeah.
So,
Get mad, I'll be the one with the scheme. Walking around the school.
I'll be sitting by truck when it's warm, and heat on.
Right?
Way less scheduled.
Yeah.
You get the big coat.
So does that sound like a plan to everybody? All right, sounds good to me. Okay, are there any committee member updates? Yeah, we heard. Amazing.
Congratulations.
Did you hear this, gentlemen?
Effective
Did-
when?
I got voted in last week, but I still have to do my paperwork,
Congratulations.
'cause it's just been.
It's capital,
crazy.
what is it?
Capital budget.
Capital budget. Our girl representing with her strong
You
math
go,
knowledge.
girl. I think that's great.
I think you're gonna do so
I'm excited.
cool over there.
So, yeah, I'll keep you guys updated on anything from that.
Yes, I love it. Awesome. The county, their meeting this month was just to review their, the special license plate grant program applications, and those are like the usual suspects, so nothing there. I don't know, but they were meeting at like the same time as we were, but it's like the usual, like the ones that always do it, but like, what was it? They don't know. I can't think of the names right now. Oh, so they're meeting tomorrow. Yeah, so they're meeting tomorrow. It's Amplify POC, Arts Foundation Cape Cod, Associated Preserve Cape Cod, Children's Place, Four Cs, Culinary Incubator, E4All, Falmouth Bike Lab, HPC, Homeless Prevention Council, Home Housing Assistance, Love Live Local, all these nonprofits. The only new ones that I really see are Skate Cape Cod LLC, which I know is a brand new nonprofit that's focused on like teaching people how to indoor rollerblade and roller skate.
Rollerblade or roller skate?
Skate, sorry. And so they do stuff at the YMCA.
Fun.
Yeah, so that's a cool one. And then the Core July Gallery is an artist space. The town of Orleans did apply. I'm not sure what for. So that meeting's tomorrow. Yeah, Open Cape's on it. So that's the county stuff. Other than that, I don't have any updates from you, Jim?
Karen,
Or anyone?
I love reading about Pack and Landing. Each other up to speed on project's perspective from the town side and the project's perspective from the community side in terms of what we had designed, proposed, applied for, been denied, but funded, so we're gonna be moving forward to next steps. There's some investigation that has to be done with another project that's happening concurrently with the Department of
Natural
Department of
Resources.
Resources of Bill Benetti's work on it, and see if that would potentially streamline our permitting process. If it doesn't, then we would continue on our own, because I'm not so sure that Bill's gonna be moving that since we would like, because we're only moving a couple of pads and he's moving an entire bulkhead, so I'm gonna, next steps is for us to talk to Bill. Somebody's forgetting.
Was to talk to Bill, it was to write it up, we're gonna mark up the plan and then,
PowerPoint together for the presentation. Second time around, because they asked us to come back, they liked it, they
Yeah.
proved our ability to apply for the application for the grant money that was denied, but then they wanted us to come back and sort of have a shinier
Yeah.
presentation.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of select board stuff, I realize this is my fault too, because I don't think I reminded you to include it, but the upcoming meetings chart that I made. So I made a chart of all of our upcoming meetings through the end of the year, including MUC and potential select board dates, because Karen and I went through their meeting dates and I said, I want to go this quarter, that quarter, that quarter, and that quarter. So hopefully we can get ahead of them, but I'll share that with you all just so you have it. And it's just like an outlook, and Karen and I will update it with like what might be coming down the agendas. It's very similar to what the select board has, but I thought it might just be helpful
So
for us.
meeting our appearance before them is gonna be
I-
scheduled for the year.
I have no idea. We haven't, I don't know.
no, and I didn't get a chance to talk to
we
Bob
haven't- Yeah,
about
we
it.
haven't talked to them yet, so those are requests that we can put in simultaneously. I mean, maybe that is our
So-
update. Maybe there's nothing we have in the quarter except for,
Right, and what I don't know too is you went in December with your
budget.
Let's go
the
with
warrant
budget.
article,
Yeah.
the budget for next year.
Mhm.
So I don't know if you're gonna need to go back for that. Excuse me. Or if
Well, we'll have to go back for special events round 2.
we will have to go back for special events round 2. Might be that could be a good target time frame if you
And for-
wanted to have updates.
Yeah,
why
don't you
Maybe
and
you
I,
could do that and the packet landing.
Yeah.
And the physical improvement update.
okay,
You guys have
Um,
been spending money.
packet, TRPF. Okay, so why don't you and I think about
Yeah.
making a request to them for that? And I'll share that document with everybody just so we have it.
Yeah.
Okay, any other updates, Joe? Maybe?
That's it.
Joe Gibbs?
I just saw at the last meeting, you guys had revisited our Route 28 research assignments. And it's- I was looking- just a reminder of what I
Oh,
was
so
supposed to
yeah, do we want
that.
to talk about? So I mean, here's the thing with that. How do I
Yeah.
put
Well,
it?
I think you have, I mean, honestly, I think that you have a lot of other things on your plate right now with the marketing contract, the mock. Uh,
Plus it's cold, you know.
Yeah, or Google Earth.
Good one, good one. I can tell you the segment to which you were assigned. Because what we did is took the 5.2 spread that is Route 28 divided by 6 and kind of set everybody up with a segment. And the concept was that you go do a kind of inventory with an eye towards what might be a suitable place or combination of places for a mixed use project and or the facade program. I think that
Can you
kind of,
send that up the assignments?
I can, if
It
you
would be
still
helpful.
want to do it. I think the reception, my personal take was the reception wasn't very
I
warm
think
to
once we
the
kinda got away from
concept,
the, like,
so.
I think once we kind of got away from doing it as a combined effort for vacant storefronts and housing, I think we were kind of like, our interests.
Why bother?
Right, so
That's how they say
I'm not holding you to it, that if you guys don't get it done, I mean, I haven't even started mine yet. Every time I get in my car and drive down, I think, oh my God, but it's.
I will
just haven't-
resend it.
I haven't, so yeah, we'll have
I'll
it.
resend it.
Yeah,
Yep, happy
yeah.
to,
And
absolutely.
that's what's gonna change on those areas in the next year. So yeah, I think it's good to keep in mind, and we can keep it updated. If people, if anybody does do it and they notice something, feel free to bring it up, but we're not gonna hold anybody hard and
We
fast.
did
to-
get more feedback from Mary downstairs too, that she didn't necessarily want us.
Reaching out to
corralling too many
people.
People, yeah.
No, but I think it's the ideas.
Correct.
Yeah,
I just didn't want to forget to do my homework.
no, you were all clear.
Special and the
I didn't
physical.
want to be the only one that didn't turn in their homework.
I think that before every one of these meetings, that I
Really?
keep waiting for
Somebody else will be
Someone
like,
to
oh,
notice.
I did this, Here you
Oh,
go.
you're kidding.
Every meeting, I'm like, I hope this isn't the one.
I
Still haven't
know.
done it.
Oh, you're so funny. That's nice to know
No, I
teachers
honestly,
feel like that.
honestly, Danielle, I've had the same feeling, and you and I are in the leadership chair, so do not be worrying about doing your homework. Too much.
You'll, yeah.
So,
I'm hoping they give a real due date and then
Steve's
I'll know
gonna
when
be
to do it
psyched.
by.
Steve O'Neill's gonna be your biggest fan on capital planning, because now he has a direct line from master planning and capital. He wants to know capital projects that we can
Mhm.
fund.
It's great. That's a super connection.
yeah,
And it's a
I'm
super way
excited.
to learn, like,
That's what I was thinking too, yeah.
broad
Yeah.
sweep of the town.
okay, staff updates. I think did we kind of cover special
I
events?
think we covered it with the special events. I'll send it all, I'll send the application stuff back out to you. I think I've got a list of things to resend to you all.
Okay,
Joe, Joe Gibbs, going back again, with the inventory project, I had printed and I can do it for you. 11 by 17 size maps of Route 28, which are really kind of fun and helpful in terms of looking at what's on the ground and parcels and what could you put together and that type of thing. But if anybody else needs a copy, if you lost yours or something, let me know.
You have to have my section of it.
Peter, I gave Peter 2. He liked them.
I would. All right. And then at the bottom of our upcoming meetings, we've kind of already discussed. I just sent you all that sheet. So if there's nothing else, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So,
All right. All those in favor? Aye. We adjourned at 6:56.
Danielle, you like hit a record for seconds
All right.
tonight.
Thanhanks, Mary.
All those muck meetings are
She's
gonna be
in
at
there.
PD, right?
The first two, the last one will be here.
At the Matavis.